Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you don't know, this B, it's a girl Kyra B coming at you with a new video. So today we're going to be talking about Bel-Air season 3, and we're going to get right into this video because there's so much to talk about and how this season progressed and what transpired in the season, and especially that ending, because like we need to get talking about that ending, because like what? Okay, so this season of Bel-Air, it's summertime, basically summer vacation, like school is not in session. The last time we've seen Bel-Air season 2, it basically ended with Carlton having like a breakdown due to him using and abusing drugs. So with that being said, he had a breakdown. He basically treated his family really bad. He kind of like lashed out on Ashley, this, that, and the third. He was trying to do a speech, and in the middle of the speech, he couldn't do it. So this season, he is in rehab. He spent, I believe, 30 days in rehab, and then he got the okay to go home and basically be at home. With that being said, in rehab, he meets this girl named Amira. Amira is a new, character to this season. So we have that. We have, Vivian and, Phil, because of Carlton, whatever other stressors that they're going through, it took a toll on their marriage. And then you have Ashley basically seeing that, the family that she thought was just perfect and everything is like, cool and easy going. She got a really big reality check when Carlton lashed out. He's going through his drug addiction and, how it kind of affected the family. With that being said, we also have Hillary. She chose LaMarcus, and they're coming back from their little mini vacation where LaMarcus proposed to Hillary, to be his wife, and she said yes, but they haven't made that announcement yet. Will basically, hanging out with Lisa, whatever. They have no labels as of yet. So that's how we basically start off this season. So we're going to basically break it down by character. We're going to start off easy. And these characters are going to be, we're going to do a 2-for-1 for this easy one. We're going to talk about Philip and Vivian. So this season, I guess their marriage is kind of like on the rocks, but they obviously have to, keep up appearances because obviously they have things going on and they have to keep strong for the family. Ashley's kind of noticing a little bit, that, they have issues as a family, everything's not all peachy keen or whatever. But in this season, we noticed that Viv, she's not in the mood to do anything really romantic with Phil. She's basically not in the mood. We later on find out that Phil was keeping like a secret that Erica kissed him, and he kind of like brushed it aside and basically was like, yeah, don't, I don't want you to tell it. Basically, when there was a party, Erica and Vivian are in the same place. She's like moving away. She's like, ready to leave the room as soon as Vivian enters the room. So Vivian knows like, yo, something's up. What is up between you? What's going on? Why can't you, be in the same place as me? She basically told, Viv that they had a kiss, and it was like really, kind of bad that, Phil couldn't tell her, and she had to basically corner, Erica about what happened between her and Phil. So with that being said, Vivian wasn't really feeling it with Phil already. So on top of that, being basically lied to, she was kind of just like, it kind of took a toll on their marriage. She was kind of like not speaking to him, going about her business, whatever. In the midst of that, this guy, chef for one of their events named Sharif, basically, caught her interest or whatever. And it was just like, yeah. So when they had that final talk, for their anniversary, where she was just like, yeah, let's talk about the hard stuff. Let's talk about the hard stuff. And she's like, yeah, I like Sharif, da 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 da, I like the way that this and that and third. And I was just like, what? And then you got Phil basically saying, yeah, he liked how Erica made him feel. I'm just like, this is kind of like, what's going on? But with that being said, them expressing their feelings and expressing, you know, what they can do to, you know, better their marriage. You know, they end up having their anniversary, going on a little mini vacation for their anniversary, this, that, and the third, and you know, they're pretty good. Also, Vivian, you know, she's doing her art situation, which is cool. Phil, because of the whole situation with Erica, he decides to cut his ties with Erica and he loses all his clients. Then he decides to, you know, invest in one of his clients that's basically trying to, I guess, what's it called, gentrify, you know, South LA, and he's trying to, you know, buy up properties that don't really want to be brought at the moment and kind of forcing them out of the community. So there's that type of storyline that was going on this season. But at the end of the day, you know, Philip, you know, he cut ties with that as well. And he decided, you know, he's gonna start his business, you know, start his business properly. So that's, you know, Phil and, you know, Vivian. We got that out of the way. Now we got this Carlton, Will, Lisa, Jackie, Amir situation, this like whole little group. So Carlton, he's, you know, dealing with, you know, the withdrawals of being, you know, off of drugs, you know, being sober, all that stuff. You know, Amira, you know, is kind of like his anchor, kind of like his buddy during that tough time. So they obviously, I mean, at first, like, to be real and honest, it's not good for two addicts to be together. You know, that's what, you know, Aunt Viv was trying to tell him. But, you know, he thought that Aunt Viv was just being too judgmental on Amira. But at the end of the day, you know, him and Amira actually got together. They were dating, whatnot, and third, which is kind of like, okay. But with that being said, Amira had some problems with Will. She was really on Will's case, basically said that Will was not picking a side, this, that, and the third. It was kind of like, yeah, what's tea? Amira was battling her own situation where she was still using drugs, lying, using the excuse that, you know, when anything goes awry, she would say that she had a sister that passed away. And, you know, she's just dealing with that hard situation. Yeah, it was a lot. It was a lot for those couples. Also this season, Will and Carlton decided to team up to start a new business, you know, called Blackcess, where like the new entrepreneurship situation, you know, because Will this season, he was doing his basketball situation, and with that being said, you know, after meeting his father, he actually met up Lou, and Lou was just like, yeah, he was a good basketball star too back in his day. So he kind of didn't want to be like father like son situation. He kind of wanted to create his own path for himself. So he's trying to be like, you know, basketball is not all he has. He can have like different avenues, different ventures to him. And you know, we get it. I mean, I don't think he really gave up basketball altogether, but I feel like for the summer he wanted to focus on his entrepreneurship, and that was Blackcess. And you know, with Carlton, him and, you know, they both made a team of trying to push that. But yeah, he just kind of didn't like being told that he had a lot of similarities to his father, because his father went to jail. His father, you know, left his mother, you know, situations like he just wasn't there as a father. So to being compared to that is not good, especially, you know, Will, he's battling his own situations. He has a lot to think about as well. So how he moves is really like privy to the things that he's thinking about, like what his father did, you know, picking a side, all that situation. So like that's basically the decision. But yeah, him and Carlton did the black set situation. You know, Carlton's with Amira. You know, Jackie's in the mix essentially, but you know, they're cool. You know, there was nothing there. But Lisa didn't think so. Lisa was like, yeah, you know, why are you here? Like, are you cool? Like, it was just like, Will really made up a disaster situation by mixing and mingling two girls that he used to, you know, mess around with, which is just kind of like, we didn't even know him and Jackie went like that. Like, real tea. Like, we just thought they were vibing in season 2, but I guess in that jacuzzi episode, we found out that it was more to that situation, which is just kind of like, and you mixing situations like that with Lisa, like, you can understand why Lisa like went off. Because when Lisa went off that episode, I was like, okay, like, all right, Lisa. But yeah. So this season was just kind of like, you know, everybody trying to get their stuff together, get their act together. Okay, Ashley this season, it just seems like she kind of just realized that there was a veneer on, you know, the Banks family. They're not as, you know, perfect as they seem. She kind of was like in a little, you know, depression rut or something like that, in terms of, you know, she had an attitude with, you know, her parents. You know, when Carlton came back, she wasn't feeling Carlton, but Carlton did apologize to her, and you know, he just said that I will make it up to you, because he did lash out on, you know, Ashley when he was going through his breakdown. Also, she was hanging out with Olivia one moment, and then, you know, 1 minute, and then I guess Olivia, she didn't like that Olivia was trying to like cheer her up in these moments of where her family was kind of like going through a little rough patch. But you know, at the end of the day, she kind of dropped Olivia like a hot potato, and then some new dude, Eli, comes into the mix, and you know, they're like, yeah, let's join your music group situation that you got going on. And you know, seems like she likes Eli. Yeah, so it kind of went from Olivia to Eli. So it's just like, where's really her storyline? Because it was just like, she was kind of writing diss raps about her family. She wrote diss raps about Hillary. She wrote diss raps about her family. Like, she was kind of writing diss raps, and I'm just like, oh, okay. It like, let's see if, you know, Vivian and Philip get a handle that. The episode where she was wearing the skirt and the jacket or whatever, and Phil was just like, yeah, you need to change. And she was just like, you know, I don't dress for your comfort. And he looked around like, who you talking to? That was pretty funny, because he was just like, yeah, slow your roll. But yeah, I'm just like, I don't really understand Ashley's character plot. I mean, it just seems like at the end of the day, she's feeling Eli at this moment. Eli's feeling her. So yeah, there's that. So then now you have Hillary and LaMarcus and Jazz. Hillary, she chose LaMarcus. She reveals at, you know, the end of the first or second episode that LaMarcus proposed to her. She said yes, this, that, and the third. Jazz, you know, he's kind of like, yeah, you picked LaMarcus, so I'm cool off of it. I'm cool off of you. But it seems like they had unfinished business the entire season. So one moment they had like a heated argument and they shared a kiss. And during the kiss, Ashley sees it and she was like, yeah, you need to own up to that kiss and tell LaMarcus right now. Even though Ashley is not even team LaMarcus, she's team Jazz. So she just want her, Hillary and Jazz to be together. Anyways, Hillary does not tell, you know, LaMarcus. You know, she holds off on telling LaMarcus. You know, it's football season, you know, there's football practice, whatever. LaMarcus gets on the field, he's practicing, da-da-da-da. Next thing you know, in practice, he does a little touchdown, whatever, but he ends up basically having some type of accident that his heart stops and he basically died on the field, which was like very a scary situation. So she was supposed to tell LaMarcus about the kiss, but yeah, LaMarcus almost left. Like he almost left, and they went to the hospital. He's in the hospital. He's recovering. He's still living. He's still alive. He's on bed rest. But then his father, who is like this big, NFL player, whatever, he's just like, yeah, you're gonna get back on the field, like blah 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 blah. But like Hillary's like, no, like you need to rest. You need to like worry about your health, because I think he has some type of like heart condition that he was living with, and this is like the first time he actually had like this really scare about it. So like continually playing football with that condition is kind of like really dangerous. So anyways, Hillary's at his bedside. She's taking care of him because she really does love the guy, even though she has conflicted feelings with Jazz. With that being said, Hillary's at LaMarcus' bedside, whatever, this, side, and third. But her career is put on the back burner for LaMarcus. And you know what? She was on the rise at the beginning. She was on top. But now that LaMarcus, literally died on the field, she's engaged to him. They're supposed to have like this big wedding. All her ideas, like a cooking show and cooking cookbooks and stuff like that, is put on the back burner. So with that being said, when Marcus notices that, everything that Hillary did for him, he's like, you know what, let's, go with this, like go speed up this marriage process essentially, and let's have our wedding at the Martha's Vineyard, only if you agree. So he reproposes to, Hillary. Hillary's dad says yes again, and they're having their wedding at Martha's Vineyard. So with that being said, she still hasn't told LaMarcus about the kiss with her and Jazz. So I was just like, is she ever going to tell LaMarcus about it? Like, what's tea? She spends a night at Jazz's place, which was kind of really messy to like get it out her system, which I'm just like, they just hanged out, whatever. She spent the night, that's it. They just hanged out. Wakes up, she leaves her ring at his place. They go all the way from from Bel-Air to Martha's Vineyard without her engagement ring. Jazz had to get his plane ticket sent to him so he can get up there and give her the ring. Give her the ring. He gets caught by LaMarcus, like, yo, what are you doing here at my wedding? Like, what are you doing here? Are you cool? Finds out that, the truth is going to be found out. She tells him everything, like, yeah, we should have kissed months ago. I spent the night at his place a couple days before the wedding. Like, yeah, this is all the truth, LaMarcus. And I'm just like, this dude has a heart condition. So you just putting him all that on his head top, which is crazy, Hillary. But he was just kind of like, the wedding's about to start in like, 30, 45 minutes. And you dropped this on me now. So he kind of had to take a walk. Was like almost about to not attend the wedding. But, Hillary lets him know that she really loves him. She, her closure, whatever. And, at the end of the day, they actually do end up getting married, and everything is, peachy keen, as it seems. We're going to head back to Carlton, Amira, and Will. So while Carlton's with Amira, he's kind of like, that's his anchor. So whatever she says, he believes 100%. He's rocking with her. Anything Will says or anything Will does, he kind of like still on the outs with it. So Lisa found out that, Amira was still doing drugs. She finds out, she was like, you know what? I gotta tell Carlton. But she, Amira was like, no, don't tell Carlton. I'll tell Carlton. Anyways, Lisa ends up telling Will because, that's her dude. So Will was like, you know what? She gotta tell Carlton, or we're gonna tell Carlton together. But Merrick shows up at the little tenant, because they all worked out the clubhouse or whatever for the summer. She shows up there and she's like, oh, what you gotta say? He was running away from tough situations, like always on his case, like always on his neck this entire season. So Will's like, you know what? I know you still using, and I'm gonna tell Carlton. So she crashes out and she's kind of like, oh, the gig is up, the jig is up. So with that being said, she crashes out. She buys some type of, drugs that was laced with fentanyl, and basically overdoses, essentially falls in the pool. Lisa has to come save her. Everybody gotta go save her, and then basically almost dies. So Carlton basically blames that happening on Will. Lisa also kind of in cahoots with that same scenario, that she's blaming what happened to Amira on Will, which I feel like that was very unfair, because Amira was to blame. Like, you can't blame someone overdose. Like, even, like, hello? And then the thing is that Carlton said some real nasty words to him. Like, he said that you're a convict waiting to happen. That's what he told Will. Will, basically, he tried to have some patience. He like, what you're saying is not really what you mean, because you're just crashing out because of the situation. He had to have some patience, okay? He said, you know what, you don't really mean that, so I'm gonna let you go. You don't really mean what you saying. So yeah, he basically was just like, but Carlton was ready to catch a fade or two. If Will didn't have patience, he was about to catch a fade. But anyways, he was saying some real nasty stuff, basically ready to air him out, because Amir was like, pick a side. Because when if you guys keeping up with what I'm saying, Philip, he basically adds a client to his roster, which is this guy who's trying to gentrify South LA. South LA is like with black owned businesses, especially one of the businesses is that Jazz's own. He's basically trying to get Jazz to sell his business so he can gentrify South LA. With that being said, Jazz doesn't want to sell his business. So, everybody's like, you know what, we're going to protest, whatever, we're going to resist, we're going to stop this. Essentially, this person, went from peaceful protest to, let's break down situations and start fires, and which Jazz was a part of. Will also was a part of that situation. Anyway, there was a camera in that situation where they have Jazz on candid camera. Will was also a part of it. So they, committed a crime that, Will had to basically, try to get himself out of. Jazz, he went to jail for that because he basically committed a crime, but he did not start the arson. So Will was a part of it, but he's underage. He's still 17. So he decides to, own up to the situation, tell the DA. The DA got his confession, but it's inadmissible because you're a minor without a parental consent, all that. So at the end of the day, he's clear. He's not going to do any jail time. But it just shows that, he is changing, he is doing better, but you need to stop, really think about what you're doing, because it's not going to be this easy next time. It's not going to be this easy next time, Will. But yeah, Will almost could have went to jail. Carlton was ready to air him out to anybody who was willing to listen. But Will, he was dealing with a lot. He was dealing with almost thinking that he had somebody get, killed, essentially, or do an overdose. And yeah, it was just kind of a wild episode. Like, it was just blame Will episode, which I was like, I think it was pretty unfair. With that being said, Black Sets, they did a good job with Black Sets. They, they got investors. The investors seem to be some guy from previous season who was with Lisa, but it was a guy who doesn't like Carlton, especially with the video of Carlton, allowing the dudes to say the N-word. Yeah, he don't like Carlton at all. But he shows back up, and basically he was an investor, his family, he got the money or whatever. So yeah, they're going to be working together on Black Sass and, you know, making it bigger than what it is. So talk about Jeffrey, big bad man Jeffrey. This season, he makes contact with his son Frederick, brings him to Bel-Air, finds out that he was keeping in contact with his mother, who was, you know, Jeffrey's, you know, ex. Penelope, she's in town too, so they have like a little mini family reunion. We find out that Jeffrey was a top boy. He's some big bad man. Like, it makes sense because every time Phil and him have like little office conversations, it seems like he got ties everywhere. Like he got his hand in the pocket. Like he know what he doing. Like, you know, he got that thing on him. Like, he know what he doing. Like, for real. So he was a top boy, and it seems like in his top boy situation, he took out, you know, he was a second in command to a top boy, and he took out the top boy. He was basically, if you ever watched Top Boy, he was basically Sully to the Shame, and he basically took out the Shame. So that's essentially what Jeffrey is. So he got it like that. He know the streets, he know the ins and outs, like he know the tea for real. So with that being said, he got a target on his back. You know, he like, people find out where he is. He's in Bel-Air. Oh, I got you now. So with making contact with Frederick, you know, he has targets on his back. So they found out where he stay at. And they was like, yeah, you gotta pay your price. You know, you thought this was over? Nah, we gotta pay a price. So Roman was the person that he used to run games with, whatever. He went to jail, he come back out. Basically, he's still in connect with the top boy people. He was like, yeah, you gotta pay your price, which means that you gotta come back to London, or if you don't come back, we're gonna take your son. And he was like, yeah, no, that's not happening. So he paid some big fee, but they weren't messing with that. So they were still keeping, you know, target on his son. Like, they jumped his son, and it was like, yeah, no, like, you need to pay your price for real. But with that being said, Roman is the OG Jeffrey, and it was so funny this season hearing Jeffrey. It was so funny hearing Jeffrey speak patois. Like, what's going on here? Like, they were just speaking patois. I'm like, oh, okay, like, they real Jamaican up in here. But yeah, they were speaking patois. They were just like, yeah, you gotta pay your price. If you don't pay your price, like, we're gonna get you, like, for real. So there's that. So with that being said, Jeffrey, he's the butler. He basically spent his entire, you know, child raising years raising the Banks. You know, he met Hillary when she was 6. That should show you, and Hillary is like 26 at this point. So like a good 20 years, 2 decades of his life, he spent taking care of the Banks family, making sure they're safe, protected, whatever, treating them like their own. So at the wedding where Hillary gets married, he's just basically watching, you know, everybody just basically, you know, doing, like, enjoying their life, getting to do what they want to do. So yeah, you know, Hillary's married, you know, everybody's happy, everybody's cool, everybody's peachy clean. And, you know, he, like, what's tea with him? He reconnects with Penelope. Penelope is like, yeah, we should, like, you know, try to leave here, you know, as a family and, like, start a new life, you know? And he thought that was, like, kind of impossible at first, but, like, realizing that he needed to get a move on with his life too, finally made the decision that, you know what, I gotta leave the Banks family. Like, I gotta do what's best for me. I gotta put me first. Essentially, that's what, you know, Jeffrey said. He gotta put himself first. And, you know, that's very valid. So he kind of, like, writes a letter to Phil, basically tells him, like, yo, I gotta go. My family's in danger, and I don't want to put your family in danger, so I have to leave. And if there was any other decision, that could have been had, you know, I would have did that, but this seemed like the only option. So he's gone, which is kind of sad, bittersweet, but you know, it is what it is. Anyways, we come to find out while this is happening, the people that were keeping tabs on Frederick, they were like, oh, light skin, you know, black man, you know, with a high top fade, like, oh, that's him, that's him. And they basically kidnapped Will, thinking it's Frederick. Cause I was just like, why would Will get kidnapped? Like, what's T? But they thought it was Frederick because they're both light skinned. like there was no other real connection of why they would pick Will to kidnap. It was because he looks like Frederick. He looks like Frederick. So there's that. So the season ends with, you know, Jeffrey gone, Will getting kidnapped mistakenly, and then Hillary and LaMarcus are married. We know that LaMarcus has a heart condition. They're married, they're on their honeymoon. Next thing you know, Hillary just leaves the room, comes back, finds out LaMarcus is unconscious, not breathing. They don't really tell you if he's dead or alive, but like, you already had one health scare. Like, I don't think they're gonna give you 2 health scares. So with that being said, I think that was donezo for him this season. I think that was it. I think, yeah, he's gone. And it's kind of like, yeah, that's after they got married, everything. So she's a widow, not even like 48 hours into the marriage, which is really sad. So we got Jeffrey gone, Will kidnapped, LaMarcus gone, and Hillary a widow. And then we've come to find out that Aunt Viv is with child. She's preggo. She's with child. So we got all of that in the season finale. Amira, you know, she did her little season run, but she gotta get herself some help. And she went to rehab for real. That works good for her. Lisa and Jackie seem to be still rocking. Yeah, Ashley seems like, you know, her and Eli, they seem like they're gonna be rocking next season. But yeah, the season end on like a really wild cliffhanger. Let me repeat this one more time. Jeffrey gone. He left. He fleed. Will got mistakenly kidnapped. You know, he got thought for Frederick. You know, Hillary's a widow because LaMarcus, he gone. Like, he already had 1 health scare. They're not gonna put 2 in the season. Like, I mean, they could, but they're not gonna put 2. Like, LaMarcus gone. We know that he got a heart condition. Like, but I feel like all that news information, I don't know, something happened that kind of messed with his heart, and yeah, he ended up not making it. So it's kind of really sad. So we're gonna see how that goes next season. And Aunt Viv and Phil are with child. So yeah, we have that. So this season was kind of interesting, kind of wild. It was kind of fast paced, but it was definitely like a summer season of basically, you know, school's out of session, you know, just gonna focus on the summer. But this season, possible season 4 will basically pick up with, you know, getting Will back, you know, Phil finding out that he's having, you know, little Nikki. And LaMarcus is gone, so, you know, dealing with the funeral situations. But how can they deal with his funeral with, like, Will not even being in attendance, because we don't even know if they're gonna get Will back in time. We'll have to see. Hopefully they get Will back, but I mean, they kidnapped the wrong dude. And like, how's Jeffrey gonna be living with his new family, with his family now? But we'll have to see, you know, how things are going. But this was an interesting season, very enjoyable. You know, the real OG Jeffrey making a cameo this season was really interesting to see. Like, each season they actually like have like cameos of the OG characters. Like last season was OG Ashley, this season is OG Jeffrey. You know, we might see a OG Hillary. We don't, who knows. But yeah, this was a good season 3. It's a, like, for reboots, this is a really good one. Like, if you haven't tuned into Bel-Air, tune in. But yeah, this season was really interesting. Like, yeah, I can't wait to see what season 4 has in store. But anyway, guys, if you liked the video, comment down below, let me know your thoughts, comments, concerns. Yeah, subscribe to my channel, subscribe, and thank you guys for watching this video. Peace.